How would a 98% retention rate help your business? Wouldn't that be nice? You could just switch off the sales engine, never worry, and your clients just keep paying you. Well, let's talk about that. Let's see, what can we do? What can we put in place to enable us to have at least a very, very high retention rate beyond 90%? Getting a client is difficult, but keeping one costs almost nothing. And remember, on top of that, what is easier, selling new clients or selling the clients you already have who already trust you? If you do it right, let's put it this way, it is the easiest thing in the world to keep a client and get them paying you more and more over time. A client who stays for 12 months is worth 4 to 6 times what a client who stays for 3 months is worth. And they require almost zero additional sales effort if you do things correctly, if your offer and your business is structured correctly. What I'm about to go through today, this document simply will cover everything you need to know about keeping clients, collecting recurring revenue without chasing, and salvaging relationships before they can become like cancellations, for example. Now, let's talk about section 1, all right? Section 1 is talking why clients actually leave, understanding what churn is caused by. Before you can actually fix the problem, you need to know what the problem is. Here's the truth about churn. Most agency owners believe that clients leave because of results. Sometimes that is true. And in the majority of cases, yes, it is, right? But what you'll also find is, especially in those first 60 to 90 days, clients leave for a completely different reason. They stopped feeling like someone cared. Kind of strange, right? And I have seen a trend in this a million times over. Think about the last client you lost. Did they leave because results were objectively bad, or did they leave because communication dried up, updates became infrequent, and the silence started to feel like abandonment? It could be both, by the way. Let me be very, very clear. You could be getting bad results and bad communication. If you do that, you're basically nailing the coffin. In the social marketing world, perception of effort is often more important than the effort itself. Let me read that one more time. Perception of effort is often more important than the effort itself. And we're going to give clear examples of what even that is and how you action it very, very soon. A client who hears from you twice a week feels more looked after than a client who doesn't hear from you for 3 weeks, even if the second client's campaign is outperforming. That's interesting. I've had clients that have underperformed significantly for a long period of time, either because of a tough market, tough season, whatever the hell it was, right? We just come through winter. It's normal. But they still stick with us. Because I am constantly doing the techniques I'm about to explain. Human psychology-based techniques, showing them that I care, showing them the perceived effort is high so that they don't choose another agency. Anyway, moving on. 68% of clients who cancelled say they felt not valued or ignored. These are stats, by the way, and data. These are not like thoughts or feelings. These are purely stats. 14% cancel purely due to pure results. The number most assume is 90%. Isn't that crazy? Can you believe that? 14% of clients cancel purely because of bad results, whereas 68% of them cancel because of the feeling of not being valued or looked after when those bad results happen. Even if you get bad results, you can still retain a shitload of clients, 68% of them to be very clear. But you just need to be good and show them that they are valued as a client. You're working on them and the perceived, everything is perception. Reality is perception, remember. And here's another stat, 9x more expensive to acquire a new client than to retain an existing one. And 3 months is the average time before most agencies stop proactively communicating. You most likely have already seen that in your own agency. I imagine you probably have, where it's been month 3, it's been a little bit later on in the process, and then all of a sudden you just can't be bothered to text and call them. You can't be bothered to catch up. You feel like they don't need it. It's another thing. You're like, oh, well, they're getting results. Why do I need to keep following up with them and checking in on them? They're happy. You perceive them as happy. They might not be. Moving on to the 3 real churn drivers: perceived abandonment, result disappointment, and trust erosion. Again, this has been proven. This is a fact. These are the things that drive churn. So let's talk about every single one of them in the 3 categories here and go into detail. Perceived abandonment. What does that look like? The agency goes quiet, client has no visibility into what's happening, and the silence equals scam in their head or abandonment. This is very common, the number 1 churn driver, especially in months 2 to 4. The second churn driver, we're talking about result disappointment. This is when expectations were set too high in the sales process, most likely, and reality generally falls short. This happens a lot, by the way, especially if you have a sales team that they're motivated to just get the sale over the line so that they get commission. We see it all the time. They want the commission. That's how they make money. They just try and push the sale over and oversell them a bit because they are not the owner. They do not get hit with the problems. They just get hit with a commission check. something you should be conscious of, something you should stay on top of. Let's talk about how common that is. It's very common when onboarding sets unrealistic timelines or guarantees, or the sales process does. The sales processes plant the seed. The onboarding kind of nails the coffin if you do that incorrectly as well. That's why when we go onto the onboarding, we're also trying to reset expectations and make it very clear what is and isn't going to happen. Another churn driver here is the trust erosion. Small things accumulate: billing confusion, a promise not followed through, a difficult onboarding, an unreturned call, a missed text, like whatever it is, slow burn. This builds over 48 weeks before sudden cancellation, or you just never hear from them again. They just ghost you. Now, here's one of the most important insights we've got to have. And by the way, this is a very, very long length document. As you can see, we've got a lot to cover today. So let's just summarize what we've just been through. The key insight is this. The most important insight in this section is perceived abandonment is almost entirely within your control. It requires no better results, no extra budget, no new skills. It requires one thing, which is communication. Consistent, proactive, warm communication. The client that hears that feels cared for, perceives that you care. The client who doesn't will churn. Section 2 is an interesting one. Let's have a coffee break real quick. All right, good. Let's begin. First section here, let's make it very clear. This is the most powerful retention tool you already have and almost certainly underuse. First section talks about proactive communication as the entire game. There is a version of client management that is reactive. The client asks you a question, you answer it. The client sends a concern, you address it. The client goes quiet, you go quiet. Reactive. That is the default mode for the majority of companies, not just agencies. And it is the silent killer of retention. Proactive communication flips the dynamic entirely. And I'll be honest with you, the majority of clients are not programmed or used to proactive communication. So when you demonstrate proactive communication and on a random Sunday night, send them a text message asking how the week was or how they're feeling for this next week, they see you care. Who the fuck would be texting them on a Sunday night? Surely you're with family. Maybe business is really important to you. Maybe you do care. Again, these are all psychological tricks we play on our clients to increase retention, basically improve the perception of effort and care as well. So here's how that looks like. You simply reach out before they ask. You send updates before they wonder. You share good news before they have to go looking for it. The psychological effect is dramatic. The client moves from feeling like a customer chasing a service provider to feeling like a business owner with a dedicated growth partner who is actively invested in their growth. That feeling that someone is genuinely working on your behalf is what makes the monthly payment feel easy or unnoticeable. It's not the results alone. It's the sense that someone gives a fuck about what you're doing. So that's a good perception principle. And again, I gave you a slight example there of Sunday night, the automation, like the text that we send out to all of our clients. And we do have an automation in our CSM automation setup where we do send them a text message directly from me in the evening of a Sunday night to get some feedback. We do it every single week, sometimes on a Saturday night, sometimes on a Sunday night, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. We automate it so it looks real. Isn't that funny? Perception is reality. You know, what people think they see is what they believe. Reality is only what you think you see. Nothing you see is a lot of the time real. So then what even is reality? Reality isn't real. Reality is all what you perceive to be real. And for everyone, it's slightly different. Everyone's perception is shaped by the way their brain thinks, the way their brain works, their upbringing, their life patterns, everything, their thoughts, their feelings, everything about them. So if you can manipulate their perception, you are in a very powerful position, my friend. Anyway, showing you care matters more than being there. Here are something most agency owners are too polite to say out loud, but very experienced operator understands. Perception of effort is as important as actual effort. You can deliver extraordinary results in complete silence and lose the client. Seen that before? Been there, done that. And you sit there wondering, why the fuck did that client churn? We did great. Made him loads of money. You can also deliver average results with exceptional communication and keep them for 2 years or even more. And by the way, been there, done that too. Like it's very common. This is not about deceiving clients, right? It is simply about understanding how human beings form trust and maintain trust. We trust people who demonstrate that they are thinking about us. Okay, we trust people who demonstrate that they are thinking about us. A client who receives a message from you at 6:45 a.m. showing your laptop open on their campaign does not consciously verify whether you are actively working at that exact moment. They register one thing: you are up early and they are on your mind. That is worth more than dashboard fucking metrics. So if you want to know my little secret that you can take away from this video, and by the way, we have much more to cover. There's quite a few gems that I'm going to throw in here. And by the way, look at the ocean behind me here. You got a nice Sunday morning, everyone busy, everyone's out and about. Families at the play park down below. People walking their dog. Sun is shining. Some old Roman architecture behind me. Standing strong in the fucking middle of the grass. That's incredible. But anyway, let's not get sidetracked, gents. Let's keep focused. I will literally send my client a picture of what I'm doing and where I'm at. What a relationship that builds with your client, right? So I might be in an airport lounge. Send them a photo of me in the airport lounge taking a selfie with a laptop. Whipping up some new ads. How's the week been? ? Doing this with your campaign. How's the week been? What can I help? Got a spare 30 minutes before my flight. How can I help you guys? Anything I can do? And then they'll ask you, oh, where are you going? Oh, I'm just traveling here. Creates credibility that you're successful. But at the same time, in amongst all the success and all the chaos and all the excitement of your life, they are still important to you in a fucking airport lounge. I do this. I still do this. I've set it up so that I can send an automatic text message. I can put it into like, this is the photo, this is the text I want to send. And it auto sends it to all of my clients in an automation. So I don't even need to lift a finger. How good's that? So it looks like it's real. And I do this maybe like 2 to 3 times a week still. And if it's a new client, sometimes daily, to be honest with you. It'll be my laptop open, crack of dawn, the sun's just rising. That'll be the time I'm going to bed, which is funny. And then I'll be taking a photo of the laptop with the background. Anyway. Here's the communication cadence. This is another very important topic that I think everyone needs to internalize. And the reason being is a lot of people have asked me, well, Jack, this makes sense, but how soon do I message people? How often? The most common communication mistake agencies make is not the volume, it's the inconsistency. Okay? A client who gets detailed updates on week 1, nothing on week 2, and a brief message on 3, and then silence for 10 days is not a client with low communication. They are a client whose perception of your engagement is oscillating between confidence, consistency, and anxiety. Consistency eliminates anxiety. So the timing of these photos that you're taking with the check-ins are like 2 to 3 times a week. Performance updates, we do it automatically. You don't even need to send them. Lead arrival notification, obviously automatic. Monthly summary report, end of the month. Proactive problem alert, basically just fucking on point. Like you see the problems, you spot them. Good CSMs. Check-in messages, just give them a call every couple of weeks or something. Whereas most of the time you can just do text messages. Now here's another one that I want to throw in, which is the voice note example. I personally don't do this. Let me be very, very clear, because I would have a fucking stressful life if all my clients were on WhatsApp. On my WhatsApp, I don't want people on my WhatsApp. I don't really like that method of communication. But if you have clients in Slack, you can use voice messages. That's a very, very effective method, by the way. I'm not even going to read this. It's really simple. Just every day, quick voice message. How's the day? And then they send you one back. Brother, that retains your client for good. They hear your voice. They hear you care. There's a human behind that screen. So remember the personal details about them. I'll give you an example about this. One of my clients is on holiday at the moment. He's on holiday. He's in Florida. And I asked about his holiday. He was surprised. I remembered. He knows I'm busy. He was very happy about it. He paid me $600. Just for fun. Like, I mean, literally, he just sent $600 for our effort. We didn't even need him. We didn't even ask him for that fucking money. He just said, send me over $600. We just got a real good job, Jack. We made a shitload from this one. Can I send you at least like $500, $600? I'm like, oh, brother, you don't need to. He's like, I want to. How can I send it to you? And he sent me the link. Sorry, he sent me the money. Another client, I know everything about his family. I run multiple campaigns for his family. I know everything about my clients. Like, I know their family. I know where they live. I know what they like to do on the weekend. Good and bad. Like, it's very, very simple. You just got to understand the game you're playing, which is mental manipulation. Everything in life is manipulating the reality you live in and the people that you are around in order to achieve what you personally want. Sounds bad, right? But it's true. We will do it consciously or subconsciously. I'd rather do it consciously. and subconsciously. Anyway, moving on to the second one. Share wins before they ask. Keep them seeing positivity. Spot problems first and own them proactively. Hey, saw the campaign's not been performing this week. I'm on top of it. Don't you worry. We'll make sure this is sorted and we'll step on the gas this week. They're like, fuck, I don't even have to tell him. He already knows. You know how it says invest 10 minutes a month into the relationship? Sometimes I sit on the phone with my clients for literally ages. Ages and ages and ages and ages, dude. I will sit there for like 30 minutes talking to them about business. And do you know how many opportunities I've had purely from that? Like referrals. I've had calls where they literally add in their friend. They might be at a pub with their friend, right? And then their friend's there and he's like, oh, dude, I run a fucking auto detailing company. And this literally happened the other week. Auto detailing company. Can you guys help with that industry? I'm like, brother, easy. I've already got 2 guys in that niche. And he's like, oh, fantastic. How much it's going to cost? I'm like, brother, don't even worry. We'll run the campaign. You can tell me in a week how much it's worth. And he's just laughing, bro. He was laughing. He's printing. He's making so much money. We've already made $500 from him. I didn't even do shit. I just tapped him into a campaign we already have running in his state. Like, it was already there. The leads were already there. We're just doubling the ad spend and sending him more leads. Like, it's fucking easy. So having these conversations with your clients, constantly talking and talking and talking and learning about them, learning their friends, getting in their network is so crucial. Like, I help my clients with so many things. I'll send them financing options, financing partners, get them in a room with people that can help them so that they can get me in a room with people that can help me. In the insurance world, for example, I have some insurance agents who have given me contacts to their upline, and then the upline gave me contacts to the CEO. You will have seen some deals that where I'm closing $75,000 contracts. That doesn't come from fucking like direct ads. Those people are never looking on ads, by the way. They don't sit on Facebook. That came from me learning, speaking, getting into higher rooms, getting into other people's offices, learning about their business, providing value for free, then getting to the top of the fucking food chain with these 3 fucking directors of a massive SaaS company or a massive insurance company, $billion insurance company. Those are clients that will pay you 30 grand a month for month and month and months and months and months. They're great. Anyway, side tangent, but very valuable information that I wanted to share. Here's section 3 on rebills. Oh boy. Now it gets good, ladies and gentlemen. Now it gets fucking good. How to structure contracts so payments happen automatically and professionally. Okay, automatically and professionally being the 2 key words I want us to focus on. The fundamental problem with manual rebilling. Every time you ask your client to renew, you give them an opportunity to say no or just ghost you. It's because it feels like they need to reconsider. They pause, they think about whether it's worth it. They're in the sales mental cycle again. Manual rebilling also creates this awkward power dynamic. You're just like trying to rip payment from them. It just feels like a bad retention dynamic relationship to have. You need to be like their friend and the money just keeps coming in to the business. Like, here's you and here's the business. They're paying the business and you're their friend separate to it. You see what I mean? Anyway, the renewal conversation is the churn conversation. And by the way, I've seen this a million times, especially with my group at the moment. This is very, very common. They struggle with the conversation. A client who has been asked to renew every month is a client who already mentally is evaluating their options every month. A client on auto bill does not evaluate their monthly options. They evaluate fuck all, to be honest with you. They just pay and they keep getting the results. Like, let me put it that way. How to structure your auto bill? Well, you need a contract in place. You need to give them notice. I generally recommend 3 notice periods. I'm holding up the number 2, but 3. A week before, 3 days before, and the night before. Now, here's the rebill conversation. Let's say that you aren't doing auto bill for whatever weird reason, and you do like a pay-per appointment, or you're cash collecting revenue shares, or whatever the fuck it is. The conversation needs to be like this. It needs to be open, deliver, close. Open, easy conversation, get a conversation going. Hey man, how's the week been? Good. Anything I can do to help you guys out so far? Are we on the track? We're on track. Good. Well, listen, I've looked at the stats, and hey man, I'll be honest, things are going great so far. You know, we've done this many leads, this many appointments, this many jobs. How much you guys made from that? Oh, you made 70 grand. Awesome. Well, brother, this is great. I'm looking forward to keeping this going next month. Your rebill, just so you're aware, is like, I think it's due in maybe 3 to 4 days. Don't even worry about it, but it is coming up. I just wanted to make sure you're aware. How would you like to do that? We could do like a 1-year contract with a reduced payment, or a 6-month contract with a slightly less reduced payment. What would be your preference? I don't know. Well, listen, I'll send you the 3 options on email, and I'll send them a 4,500, 9K, and then a 15K rebill, and they choose which one they want to pay, and then we just finance it, and you go into the close, and that's it. That's the rebill conversation. I put a script in here, but I think it's a little bit gay, and I've just read it out anyway, so it's fine. We don't need to go over that. And we don't handle objections in the rebill. We just continue delivering until there's no objections. So I'll skip past that section of the document. If you want to read it, you can read it. I don't really give a shit. But cool. Under promise and over deliver. Yeah, sounds like it makes sense, Jack, but you will be missing angles here. I know you know what that means. Obviously, you know what that means. You're speaking English. It makes sense. But let me go into some more depth, some understanding on what that statement is even talking about. Here's why expectation management is your most important skill. In every churn event, right, it precedes the cancellation itself. So let's list what a churn event even looks like. Last 5 leads were bad. Jack hasn't called me in a week. I can't log into the app. I've just been hit with a huge bill that I have to pay, and Jack's super expensive. These are what we call churn events, things that could prompt a churn situation. Now, it isn't always about the quality of your work. It's about the distance between the promise made and the reality delivered. And the promise made, here's a problem with retainers and this type of paper appointment offer, is you're not selling data, you're not selling leads, you're not selling appointments. You're actually just selling the end result, the lifestyle, all these things. That's how you get sales these days. You sell them that end product that they actually want to achieve. Problem with that is that's what they're expecting. So, based on your business model, you definitely can end up in a situation where if you overpromise, you're going to get a bad spot. A lot of client churn, a lot of client problems. So let's look at this overpromise cycle or the underpromise cycle. Sell, and we literally tell this to our fucking closers because they need to know this. Sell with aggressive projections to close the deal, or you sell with conservative, clearly caveated projections. Month 1, results are decent but below the expectation. Month 1, results meet or exceed conservative expectations. Client is disappointed despite reasonable action. Client is impressed. Client is already mentally evaluating alternatives. They're telling their network about you. You see look at the fucking difference. ACL, we're looking at like 2.4. And then here we're looking at 9 to 14. And a potential for a bad review or a potential for multiple referrals. And here's how to set expectations very, very clear. I'm not going to read this because everyone knows how to set expectations. I'm going to give you a live example. When it comes to setting expectations, what I'm going to do on the onboarding is say, listen, I need to make sure that I'm not going to oversell the fuck out of you guys. They'll laugh, ha ha ha, sounds funny. And I'm going to say, I've done this for 7.5 years. I know exactly what's going to happen with this campaign, and I can give you multiple expectations. So can we go through that now? Yeah, of course we can, Jack. Brilliant. Again, I'm being like nice now. I'm letting them feel in control. Can I go through that now? Yeah, you can. Cool. They want to feel like they got their hands on. They want to be involved too. They're business owners. They have that fucking mentality of being in control. So play them at their own game. I'll then tell them, well, listen, this can go a couple ways. This could either go perfect out of the gate. I've had guys make 20 grand in their first day. And I've had guys make 20 grand in their first week. And believe it or not, I've had guys that make 20 grand in their first fucking month. I don't know which of those 3 paths it's going to be for you guys. And I'd be lying to you if I said I knew which one it was going to be. But regardless of what happens, you will be able to make significant profit. You just need to remember that everything we're about to do has to be based on data. I have lots of clients that panic. They make emotional decisions, not data-driven decisions. I will be here the whole time to look after you guys, and if you ever feel uncomfortable or in a bad spot or you have problems, please raise it to me. Don't let it cook on the afterburner and then come up at the last second. I'm here to help. We all need to work as a team. Everything you see, I need to see. Everything I see, I'll share with you. And we're going to make this work for a long-term partnership. How does that sound to you? It's like a fucking pep talk. They're like, damn, yeah. And if the first week's not so great, they don't even care. They don't even mention it. And they have that mentality. They're almost trying to appeal to you. Because if you set your dynamic as you're up here, you're very successful. They're here. Always position them a bit below you. Sounds narcissistic as fuck, but it's true. Position them a little bit below your level of success. Then what you want to do is explain your mentality and why they should have that mentality and why you expect them to already have it. Then what you'll find is they're always going to try and appeal to you and say, hey, I know this week's not been great, but listen, we're going to let it run. We're going to make a data-driven decision. They copy what you're saying a little bit. Anyway, that was an example. So let's skim past that. I don't really want to go over that. That's just kind of long as fuck. But section 6 is talking about how retention saves. What to deploy when a client is about to... retention saves, or how to save retention. Fucking weird title. What to deploy when a client is about to cancel and how to make them stay. Recognizing the warning signs. You have to be attuned. With a lot of things in life, you have to be attuned. I'm very good at understanding people. I'm very good at receiving when people are lying to me, when people are being truthful, when people are at a certain mental state, when people are happy, when people are sad, when people are frustrated, when they're concerned. Like all of these emotions, I'm able to witness and recognize via facial expressions, body language, tonality, everything. Patterns in their behavior. You need to be very attuned. You need to be a switched-on individual. And as a business owner, you need to learn that skill fast. You'll learn it through managing a team. You'll learn it through... Because remember, my team is sometimes upset. My closers sometimes are frustrated. They're not closing deals. My setters sometimes get upset. Everyone's a bit of a fucking wet wipe. Boo-hoo, weeping and shit. Your clients will be the same. A lot of people I've met are the same. Very, very soft individuals. Very soft. And you need to be able to understand their personality, first of all, and understand their behavior patterns very quickly. So, for example, short replies. They stop opening your reports. They miss the monthly call. They ask about contract terms. That's a fucking terrifying one. They stop answering leads promptly. They CC a new person on emails. Getting second opinions. Just subtle changes in the behavior you want to avoid. Now, here's the retention save conversation. You basically get on the phone with them. I'm not even going to read this because I just know it. I'm just going to explain it to you guys. The retention conversation, like the game saver, looks like this. Let's say the rebuild's coming up and things aren't going great for their campaign. You say, listen, Mr. Client, I'm looking at your campaign stats right now, and let me be honest with you, I'm really annoyed. I'm really annoyed with my team. And I have a meeting with them tonight, and you best believe we're getting to the bottom of what's gone wrong. Because I don't accept this level of standard within my business. And you say it exactly like that. You're more pissed off than him. You match his level and exceed it a little bit. And he'd be like, thank you, Jack. No, I appreciate that, man. He rants to you a little bit. And I'm like, dude, I agree, man. What the fuck? Why are we getting people like this come through our funnel? And we're asking all these questions. We're qualifying them. We're doing all this. We're getting bad leads. I just don't accept that standard, Mr. Client. And trust me, we're going to make sure we get our foot on the gas next week. And do you know what I'll say to him? I'll make it, again, a bit of a lie. I'll say, okay, cool. Well, listen, here's what I'm going to do, Mr. Client. I'm talking to my team tonight. We will implement immediate changes. We will not go home. No one will leave the office until the work is done. What office? You know what I mean? But it's just, again, the image in his brain, perception. And then I will say to him, I personally will double your ad spend next week and run it on my company card. And in some cases, I won't double the ad spend, but I will chuck an extra $10 a day or $50 a day or whatever the fuck. It depends what their ad spend is. I might increase it by 50% a bit on my company card. And they'll be like, Jack, I really appreciate that, man. I'm like, of course. And I would do this for you 100%. Like I said to you at the beginning, I'm here to look after you. I will do whatever is needed to make this work. And they're like, fuck, this guy's so driven. He's so in control of it. And he isn't defensive. He's just taking full ownership of this. Full ownership. That's the difference between a fucking captain of a ship and the guy that fucking swaps the deck. The guy that swaps the deck blames the brush that he's brushing with. The guy that's steering the ship says, yeah, this is a rocky ocean. I should have picked a better day. And takes accountability for it. Even though, how can he control the fucking waves? You see what I mean? That's what you're meant to do as a business owner. The other thing I like to do is I extend their rebill. I'll say, listen, you know how you're meant to be billed at the end of this month in 7 days? I want you to not even think about that. Forget it. Right? We'll keep this running until you make it money. And they go, what? What? That's crazy. Jack's going to work for free? He's like, this guy's happy. And brother, we'll get results anyway and rebuild them because he'll be so happy that we've looked after them. That was my example. That was a pretty damn good example, by the way. A few different examples there for you to take on board. The other thing we do is we give them free shit. New website, new rebuilds, video ads, extra shit that they can take home and be happy. Here's the complete retention system. This just summarizes everything we've been through in the document. But I just want to do a one-liner summary before we polish up the video today. And by the way, I think this video was incredibly good. I really liked this video. A lot of value in this, like jam-packed little gems. You know what's funny is a lot of people that will listen to this won't even be able to implement it. That's why I'm not even worried about giving the information out. Anyway, retention is not about the results. It is about whether your client feels like someone intelligent and dedicated is looking after their business. Results contribute to that feeling. So do morning photos, voice notes, proactive problem alerts, record week celebrations, free websites, rebuild conversations where you walk through the numbers before asking for the money. Perception, ladies and gentlemen, is in fact reality. Make sure what they perceive is someone who cares. Because if they do not perceive that, my friend, say goodbye to that contract. Thank you for watching today. See you soon.